I have no clue even where to start on reviewing the Marvels. But you know what? It might be time to start something new. Hello there, namaste. So, in order to enjoy this film, you know what? I'm just going to be outright and honest. Don't think of it as like a superhero movie. Think of it as three women who basically are forced to get together, and they don't get along until their clocks synchronize. That sounds so wrong. A gas planet dying. Or, wait, no, that's supposed to be the sun. You gotta love it when they don't explain why anything is where it's at. You gotta love it. I could have sworn that hammer was destroyed. I could have sworn, but what do I know? It's not like any of these things actually make sense. And why is one of the most powerful things just tucked away in a tomb? There's no reason for it. They don't explain it. It's just there. And why is the other one in the hands of a teenager? I don't get it. Why do they let her have the power? Why doesn't anyone else take it? How did they get separated? Right, it's time for the introduction of a character because nobody watched her show. This is what I find funny is they do a little comic book strip of introducing her. I thought those cat aliens were supposed to be smart. If you're having to use a laser to get it to do what you want it to do, it's not smart. But I don't know, I'm just nitpicking. See, remember that. See, she is in a suit in space. There was only one reason they had her in a suit in space, just so they could do something comedic later, or what they think is comedic. Why? Why? Well, I understand why Monica Rambeau would do it. Because she got her powers walking through a witch's force field. That's how she got her powers. So, of course, she touched something that might be dangerous. And see, that's where the suit comes into play. Because Monica doesn't need a suit in space anymore. How does everyone know who Nick Fury is? Seriously, what happened to it being a secret organization? Nobody knew about S.H.I.E.L.D. Nobody knew about S.W.O.R.D. But now apparently, or sorry, it's not sword anymore. It's saber.
I smell your lightsaber.
Lightsaber?
Nobody knew about any of those. And now apparently everybody knows what it is. I gotta say, at least we know where all the merchandise that came off the shelves for Captain Marvel went. It went for the set of Miss Marvel. So these Power Ranger villains were literally just waiting behind the rocks till she showed up. It literally makes no sense. They don't explain why they were there. Oh, they could have had better CGI, but you know what? Everyone already knows the issue with Marvel's CGI, so there's no point in talking about it, right? I don't know how I feel about this. Honestly, I felt like this was more racist than anything I had seen. I don't get it. Is this supposed to be funny? And why are they still sitting in the same exact spot? It's like they just were told to stay put. People have wandered through their house. People have teleported in, teleported out. Their daughter disappeared in front of their eyes and then appeared back. And they were still sitting in the same exact spot.
Okay, new rule. No more touching. Especially glowy, mysterious.
No, they're not going to do that. It makes women more powerful. Oh my gosh, this is one of the dumbest things. Why would you fire a weapon in a spaceship? Even, like, Nick Fury should be aware. He doesn't know that weapon. He doesn't know what it's firing. He doesn't know if it's going to blow a window out. He can't breathe in space. Yet they're actively firing weapons in a vacuum-sealed spaceship. Ah, these Star Trek sets. I mean, at least Star Trek had heart and a decent story that kept you engaged. You can phase, woman. How do I remember your powers more than you do? Just make your body intangible and have them phase through you. Oh my gosh, you do it now? It's so dumb. It's like she could have phased at the very beginning and avoided all hits. One of the things I actually enjoyed, the fact that it's clear you're a secret agency and all your tablets are see-through, so anyone on the other side or on across, just get a good high-quality camera and read everything that you're reading. It's sword. It's sword. Well, everything gets scrapped nowadays.
Hey, black girl magic.
Who writes this dialogue? Ugh, and I hate it when they write women as men. I absolutely hate it. Because that shot, honestly, if you get a guy with a commanding presence in that shot, it would seem awesome. You get a petite woman with a grill in her face, walking down, carrying a staff that just seems cartoonish at that point because she just seems to be carrying it, not knowing how to weigh it. Honestly, swing it over your shoulder. Swing it about as if you know what you're doing. That would be so much more cooler than just... It just doesn't feel right. But yeah, they draw women as men and don't cast them correctly. But then again, she was cast because of who she's in a relationship with. You're swinging and don't even get close. The big power bracelet that absorbs other powers, which apparently Kamala's can't do for some reason. Only that lady's can. You notice how their clocks aren't synced yet. Their clocks aren't synced, so they'll argue quite a bit.
Now, commence Operation Vacuum Suck.
All right, everyone who's seen Spaceballs, say it with me. Suck. 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 The fact that they took this plot from Spaceballs is just one of them. Spaceballs did it better. At least it had a vacuum. Right now, they're just creating two portals, and what's going to make the suction go from one to the other? Nothing makes any sense. They created a hole through space and time, and apparently the atmosphere is getting sucked out of one and going into the other. Why? If anything, it'll thin the air of both. If it's going to remain there, if that hole is going to remain there. But logic has no place, or good story structure has no place in a Marvel film these days.
We need to save who we can.
Yeah, exactly. You can't save everyone. Don't bother. Valkyrie serves no purpose here. Honestly, what I don't get is why don't they just take the scrolls to Titan, was it? Thanos' old homeworld? Because it still is inhabitable. The population just went deceased. The planet is still perfectly fine. There's so many planets that are inhabitable that we've seen throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe that are not available for the scrolls to inhabit. But then again, they would actually have to either read the comics or watch the movies or, you know, actually understand what's going on in their own world before they actually created something that made sense. This is the thing I don't get. The planet was run by basically an intelligence. You destroy the intelligence and then the planet's sun dies. How does you destroying the supreme intelligence lead to the sun dying? How does their civil war that you caused, apparently, lead to their sun being destroyed? That's one thing that makes no sense to me. Maybe it's in the flashback, or maybe there's a story there where she destroys the supreme intelligence. The supreme intelligence had been keeping the sun alive. Basically, anyone who understood that they were being used by the supreme intelligence would basically let them know that the sun is in our hands. If I get taken out, then you all die. Maybe that's the actual story. Maybe that's there, but we will never know. All we know is that she destroyed and freed the people. They created a civil war upon each other and destroyed their own sun. Don't ask questions.
What you seek is seeking you.
How is English written on that thing? Why is English written on that thing? It's an ancient piece of technology, allegedly, and it has English written on it. Yeah, it's time for their clocks to sync. The fact that they have those roping off segments in space, too. You would think it'd be some kind of holographic projector, but nope. Nope. They go cheap and just have those rope things as well. This makes absolute no sense. So on this planet, they sing in English, right? And apparently that's their dialect. That's how they speak. They can't understand anyone who isn't singing. How does that make any sense? Because technically them singing is nothing but an accent. So anyone speaking any kind of other dialect, any kind of other accent, whether it be Western accent, whether it be a Southern accent, whether it be a New York accent, whether it be an Indian accent, whether it be a Hispanic or Asian or whatever, they'd be able to understand what's being said because their singing is nothing but another English accent. But no, apparently it's a completely different language. They're singing in English, you dumb twats. They're singing in English. How is that a different language? It's not. And then they call the prince bilingual. It's like, no, he is not. He just understands he just has a different accent. He has multiple accents. Like anyone who could fake a Southern accent. I mean, I'd be tempted to do one right now. Or an Indian accent, which I'd honestly would really be tempted to do an Indian accent. But then again, that'd be considered very offensive. Asian accent, Hispanic accent, anything like that. It's just so freaking retarded. The fact that they say, oh, it's a completely different language. It's English. It's English.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
It's like the writer of this has no clue how to speak or listen or understand a British accent because they're American and they don't understand all that Britishers talk.
This family's been reduced to those lowest basest of all creatures, we've become actors.
It's like, how shallow-minded do you have to be to think that anyone would not understand what you're saying? Sorry, I went off tangent because that alone. And then the whole fact that the whole planet is just dancing and singing, and I'm like, if you're gonna at least do that, make it entertaining. Make it interesting and don't make the costumes look like they're plastic.
The marbles. Yes! How is that even a thing?
Exactly. How did that catch on? And what the heck just happened there? When did they...
He doesn't have to sing? Yeah, he's bilingual.
How stupid is that? He's been speaking English since they showed up. Everyone there is speaking English. That's not bilingual. And of course, Nick Fury has no purpose in the story no more. You know, their whole objective here is to take her bracelet. You would think their entire time, instead of synchronizing their clocks, they would have practiced taking the bracelet off Kamala Khan. So that way they would at least understand how to unfasten it correctly. Because you know it opens up. They've showed that many times. They saw it put on her wrist right in front of them. Why wasn't she wearing it from the beginning? Who knows? It was there so everyone could see it be opened, I guess. Oh my gosh. And how is that? When did she become an expert with that scarf? When? At what point? When did that scarf become a weapon? And you're not automatically good with weapons. There's something you have to get better at over time. I knew the bracelet could absorb powers that were shot at it, but since when could it drain it of people who weren't actively using their power? Don't ask questions. Promise to save the planet and then abandon it to their water being sucked away. That was the dumbest thing. She's got pillows. She's got blankets. She's got... Oh, the cat spit it up. Now I get it. The cat spit up the living room in there. I think a visual would have been nice. Yeah, they're all in sync. Now they get to play with cats. Yeah!
Spit him out.
No. That's the plan.
At least he came up with a plan, I guess.
So we're literally hurting cats?
Yeah. Hurting cats. I'm not gonna lie. I think this was actually one of the funniest things because it's so stupid. It's so stupid, and you have to go in realizing that this is gonna be ridiculous. And the fact that the little kittens are hunting down, and apparently Goose is training them how to hunt. You know, I didn't realize these people are literally getting swallowed by cats. They're getting swallowed by cats. Oh my gosh, now that I've thought of that, there's so many things. They're just the fact that they're handling cats. There are cats everywhere. The cats are swallowing everyone whole. Just switch the word of cats to other things and you'll see how messed up it is. A cat in each hand. Cute. Yeah, it's sad. Nick Fury has been disgraced so many times now in so many movies. Samuel L. Jackson is just... He's gotten to the point where he just shows up for a paycheck. He doesn't care about what he's doing. He knows he's gonna get paid.
Don't stop. We need all help we can get.
See, I like that line,
Amen.
but this is Nick Fury. They could have done so much more with him. Is it just me, or is she not intimidating? She is absolutely not intimidating at all. But what do I know? I'm a bigot. Because that's the thing. If I was to see her, like a 6-foot-something male in her role, fighting 3 women, I would be more on the side of the women. Because right now, the women are overpowering and ganging up on one poor female. 3 women ganging up on one guy makes sense due to the power differential. Especially if the dude's wearing one of Miss Marvel's bangles. Those close-ups on her face, the snarl, just don't work. They just don't work. Literal blue blood. She's a royal. Honestly, when I heard this, the immediate thing I thought about was Superman. When the sun is dying and Superman basically sacrifices himself to repair the sun, and Lex Luthor finally gets the power of Superman and realized everything he had been doing his entire life was for nothing because everything is so fragile, and realizes his mistake. Lois is pregnant with Superman's son as Superman is basically in the sun repairing it. That's immediately what I was remembered of. I was going to say manga, because manga is the new thing that's ruling, not comics. But that was the comic that it reminded me of. Oh yeah, this is still going on. Yeah, if you're gonna try and help someone that's a villain, take their weapon away from them first. Oh my gosh. She takes the bracelet, removes her weapon, is obviously not paying attention. All these people have magic light powers that they can shoot out of the palms of their hands. Keep in mind, they are light powers. Light powers. That is incredibly fast. And they just stood there and watched. The entire time they stood there and watched. I don't know. I think that was supposed to be the equivalent of Thanos snapping his finger. I think that's what that was supposed to represent. The dinging of the bangles. It was supposed to represent Thanos' snap. Of course, that's nowhere near as interesting, but I'm confused. I thought Miss Marvel's powers came from her bracelet. Did she absorb all the power that now she can use the power without even needing the bangles? And I keep switching it up because, let's face it, they don't know what they are. So let's just keep swapping between bracelet and bangle. Because I thought bangles were more small, not massive. I thought they were only massive if you put on like 100 of them. Like the glass bangles for like a wedding. I thought that was the only time. Or the multiple gold bangles. But what do I know? And now they're... vague light powers will all be used to seal a vague breach between space and time, which wasn't being caused until she did her Thanos bangle snapping. No duh, it was a one-side trip. If you're gonna close a door from the inside, you're obviously gonna be on the inside because she's on the inside closing it. She wasn't on the outside, she was on the inside closing it. She mentioned that to them. Everyone should have known it was a one-way trip.
I always knew I would have to stay.
No duh. The way you worded it. Everyone should have known. So the sun that Captain Marvel inadvertently destroyed, she gets to resurrect. Again, I don't know how she destroyed the sun. They don't explain how destroying the Supreme Intelligence destroyed the sun. I would have liked that information. Honestly, I read more DC comics than I did Marvel. I'm not the one who would know. Maybe there's some deep lore in the comics. But then again, most of the directors, writers, everyone involved in the project doesn't know a thing about the comics. So I've probably read more Marvel comics than they have.
This will be a lovely house to raise a family.
I don't get what that line is supposed to be. Is she trying to set her son up with Captain Marvel? Is that the joke there? Is it trying to arrange in a marriage? Is that what is being hinted at? Oh, and this has got to be the worst thing they did. They're completely replacing Nick Fury. Nick Fury, the start, like Iron Man, that epic scene, post-credit scene that most people for 5 years didn't know it existed because Avengers came out and everyone was like, oh, they were working on this since Iron Man. They redo it with Kamala Khan. And I can't believe they actually got... Well, what are these actresses doing other than the terrible Marvel things they're attached to? Does she even have a driver's license? She's supposed to be 17 at the time. Well, I can't equate it with myself. I didn't get my license till I was 22. I didn't care to drive. But yeah, the fact that they're trying to replace Nick Fury entirely, and they're redoing his entire scene for an all-women's Avengers, or the Young Avengers, I guess they're going to try and do. Which I don't care to watch. But heck, honestly, if this does well, I will watch the Young Avengers, just because if it ever comes out. How many things get put on hiatus? So what I'm guessing, spoiler alert, is in the other parallel dimension, her mother is the Captain Marvel of that world, is the Carol Danvers of that world. They brought Beast back. That's great, but I don't... The graphics are so awful. They should have just given him his outfit. That's what made it so cool. It was the suit he was in. It was a mix between CGI. You have to have practical effects. It makes it look so much better when there's actually something there. Right here, I know I'm looking at something completely rendered. Oh, and this right here, I have to point this out. It's terrible editing. Absolute terrible editing. Look at where he walks to. Look at where they're looking and then where he's looking. It looks so off. It doesn't look like they're looking all at the same place. It looks like he's looking at a completely different direction. They're looking towards him, but he's like off to... Like they're over here and he's staring off this way. There's a way of doing cinematography to where it looks like everyone's looking at each other. That's literally how it ends. What a great, great movie. A movie about 3 women who just happen to be forced together. They have to learn to sync their clocks, and as soon as they do, they get to play with kittens in their hands, in both hands, and having them swallow multiple people. That is the story. Until they beat up another woman who was trying to suck the atmosphere from one planet, the water from another planet, and the sun from another planet. I don't know how else to go about reviewing this movie. But yeah, let me know how you enjoyed this. If this works better than, well, for a movie like this is the only thing that would work, because, oh my gosh, my brain shuts off afterwards. I literally can't think of anything I just saw. I can't recall anything I just saw. It is so mind-numbingly dumb. There is nothing that your mind can actually focus on or enjoy or grab from it and, you know, hold on to for inspiration. There's nothing there that's uplifting. There's no moment there that it's like, I mean, maybe there's, it's Carol Danvers when she's like, oh, we gotta save who we can. Well, there's something there that's like, yeah, okay, you can only focus on what you can focus on. But I watch these things so you don't have to. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.